I just got back from the ABC store. I spent about 300 bucks. So now let's look at what we got. Now I want to preface this by saying we are not snobs over here at Bar Guy University, okay? We're not spirit snobs, we're not beer snobs or wine snobs. I'm not going to judge you for what your preferences are and what you like to drink. With that said though, all spirits, wines, and beers are not created equally, and I do acknowledge that. So first on the list, we got Evan Williams. Very good low-level bourbon if you just want to make a couple drinks, couple cocktails with it. This is what I would suggest. Price point is decent, and you don't have to go and splurge on something that shouldn't be disrespected with ice. You know what I mean? Next, we have Woodford Reserve. This is one of my favorite bourbons to just kind of sip on. I usually don't use this in any sort of cocktail, unless maybe I want to make myself an old-fashioned. I might use a little Woodford, but for the most part, I'm just going to put this over ice and sip on it. Then we have a little scotch. Dewar's White Label is very basic, entry-level scotch. It's not too expensive. It's something that you can use when you want to make a cocktail. You could even sip on this. I wouldn't necessarily suggest it. You want to go to the higher end, but scotches get super expensive. So with that said, I got a little Dewar's White Label. For my cognac of choice, I prefer Remy Martin 1738. Sometimes I'll go Douce. Those are my two favorites. I also have some Le Portier by Shannon Sharp. Very, very good cognac. Those three I would suggest to anybody who likes cognac, who wants to drink some cognac. I usually don't make too many cocktails with cognac. So with that said, I usually go for something that's a little more expensive that I can sip on. Gin. I have to be honest. I do not like gin. I can't get into it. I've tried. I do have an appreciation for the flavor profile and what it can do for a cocktail. But as far as knowing what's the best gin and what's the worst gin and what gin to try, I promise you I've tried. And to me, they all taste similar, if not the same. So for gin, we went with Tanqueray. So next on our list, we have Mezcal. I'm a huge fan of Mezcal. I love the flavor profile. It's like a smoky tequila, essentially. We'll get into more about the distilling process, but this is illegal Mezcal, and this is the one that I'm most familiar with. There are some other brands out there that are really good, but this is the one that I'm most familiar with and I love. Next, for our Blanco tequila, we have El Jimador. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's a waste of time to go with the expensive, high flashy brands for a Blanco tequila, because more than likely you're either taking shots of it or you're mixing it into a cocktail. And when you're doing that, you don't need to spend a whole bunch of money. Get something that's good quality that won't leave you with a crazy hangover or a bad stomach ache the next day, and you're good. Next, for our Reposado tequila, I went with Milagro. Now, Milagro gets slept on a lot, honestly. Everybody loves the call brands, and trust me, I like those call brands too, because we're not snobs here. But Milagro is a better priced version of some of those same things. And last but not least, we have Don Julio Reposado Private Cask. Now, usually I would have went and got an Añejo, but I already have two Añejos up there on the shelf.